Trying to be aggressive all night, especially with certain looks we had, and with the weather, usually you think just run the ball and all that. So I try to come in with a really aggressive mindset. We had a lot of try and hit some big play kind of things, and so even there, I got the coverage I wanted, and I gave Zay a chance, and obviously their corner sped up, stayed on top, and he went and made a play on the ball, which I have to give him credit. He made a great play, and after that, it's like, please just I promise we'll win the game. I promise we'll win it. Just get it back. And the defense did, and we were able to go back down the field and win the game.
Oh, by the way, Michael Smith, Derek Carr is another one of those cats that I was just talking about. One of those guys, if you ask him a question, more often than not, most of the time, he will give you an answer. It will be a thoughtful answer. He can go deep with you if you want to go deep with him. He can give you, if you're on deadline, he can give you a nice little tweetable comment. So, big fan of Derek Carr. I know you are too. Now, this is a huge win last night. I like all of these games down the stretch. And I'm going to give the NFL credit. I've criticized the NFL enough on a lot of topics. I'm going to give the NFL credit of late season schedules. This is not one of them. It's not a divisional game, but the late season games are generally pretty interesting, especially when it comes down to the final month of the season, because you have a lot of divisional matchups that have meaning, like tonight's with Washington and Philadelphia. But in this game, Cleveland needed it. The Raiders really needed it. It was a 21st century, it was a 2021 game where the first string quarterback and the second string quarterback for Cleveland were both out with COVID. The head coach is out with COVID. The Las Vegas Raiders look like they have blown the game with that Carr interception, which he just alluded to. And for them to come back and get this win on a 48-yard field goal, big night for the LV Raiders.
Damn, that was 2 markets ago.
That was back. That was back. That was back and back.
Oakland, LA, Oakland.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
To save their season. But shout out Derek Carr. I know you have some things about his ability to kind of bring a team back. This is not your classic. This ain't your classic Derek Carr comeback, but it counts.
Yeah, but it counts. It counts, exactly. I'll go chronological with a couple of things here. Because it's just something, as usual, something you said just jumped out to me and it's taken me in a whole different direction. So Carr now has 28 game-winning drives. That is tied for the most since his debut in 2014. And here's another stat that'll blow your mind. I heard this today. Do you know that the Raiders are the only team since 2018 to use one quarterback?
The only team.
Only team, apparently. I didn't check my own research. Not supposed to trust anybody else's research, but it sounds good. So if it's wrong, so what?
It is. I like it. I hope it's true.
I'm using it to make the point that Derek Carr, talking about classic. He's that classic quarterback that's like, I'm sure there's a significant portion of the Raiders fan base that's looking for an upgrade. That's like, he's not the guy to get us there. But it's just like, A, he's dependable. B, more often than not, he transcends his circumstances. He's a really, really, really good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? No, but ain't but a handful of great quarterbacks. But he's a dude that, for stretches, games or stretches, can look like an MVP. Yeah. He's probably one of those guys that needs things to go well around him. But you could do a lot worse than Derek Carr, and I like him. That's not a compliment. That's not a compliment. That's a backhanded compliment. That's like, oh, she got a good personality. Woo. Like, you could do a lot worse than Derek, a lot worse. But let me emphasize that lot. You could do a lot worse than Derek Carr. So, more Raiders fans, whoever you are, need to love the one you with, because the dude's good, and he's been good.
Look at that. Look at that picture. Look at all that.
Well, the picture's muddled, and I don't like the. I don't like it. And it's crazy.
You don't?
The Browns are 12th. They would have been 4th had Carlson not made that field goal. That's just how significant. I'll agree with you about the word significant, because it's week 15 still on a Tuesday night. It's still week 15. COVID put the week in week 15. the games are obviously significant right now. So Browns on that field goal went from 4th potentially to 12th in the AFC playoff picture. But your energy jumps out to me. Your enthusiasm jumps out to me, Michael Holley. Your enthusiasm for these games.
Yeah.
Like, I'm too young to remember 87. Although I do remember John Fourcade. Remember, he was a big hit in New Orleans for those 3 replacement player games. I also love the movie The Replacements, starring Keanu Reeves. I forget the woman that he was romantically involved with in the movie, but she was awesome, and I don't know whatever happened to her. But I enjoyed that movie, The Replacements.
We can find that. We can find that. We'll find it.
The point I'm getting at is, I feel like I'm watching replacement games. I feel like I'm watching strike games.
Ooh,
I
really?
cannot keep. I don't know who's playing from time. I mean, so Michael. Okay, tonight, this just in. Okay, literally this just in. Garrett Gilbert is starting for the Washington football team against the Eagles tonight.
Who?
Exactly, because neither Taylor Heineke nor Kyle Allen, tested out. They're on the reserve COVID list. Garrett Gilbert, did you know? Wait a minute, you said who? Did you know that he was on New England's practice squad? Did you know that?
No.
He was on New England's practice
squad.
squad.
He is. I have no idea.
Exactly.
You can give me 35 guesses.
He is starting tonight.
I don't know where he went to college.
He's starting tonight.
I don't know his height, his weight, his race, nothing. I have no idea who Garrett Gilbert is. Don't know.
I mean, there's certain assumptions you can make about a guy like Garrett Gilbert.
Brother?
But
Brother?
no. So what I'm getting at is, okay, it's like I could not feign excitement about Browns Raiders.
Come on.
And Vikings Bears for that matter. Here's the only thing I can think about from last night's game. Derek Carr. Was this kind of heartbreak is a little more acceptable for Browns fans because, hell, what are you going to do? Right?
I mean, and they're used to
your team's, but your team's compromise is different. This isn't just like choking it away. Like, who are you running out there? So for Browns fans, a little less heartbreaky than usual what they're dealing with right now, even though they're not completely out of it. And that's for the second game.
Even more so because you look. We're talking about offense.
You think so?
We're talking about no Jarvis Landry and no Case Keenum and no
Baker Mayfield
and no
Case
Kevin
Keenum,
Stefanski.
Stefanski.
But you know who you have? You have a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. You've got John Johnson. That's what I'm saying. So if you're up at that point, you think if the game comes down to it, you've got your number 1 unit on the field, and you think you still have a chance of winning that game.
You're right. From a micro sense.
That's heartbreaking.
Well, but from a micro sense. You're right. From a micro sense, in terms of last night's game, which you were clearly more invested in than I was. They could have won that game. I'm saying from a macro sense, if you're the Browns, you're like, well, our replacements are out there. So then the second game, Vikings-Bears. Vikings-Bears. It's like, okay, all I can think about with the Bears was that the Giants have their first-round pick next year. A Giants franchise that does not know how to even put together a fan promotion properly. Like, sidebar, quickly. I want to know who was in the room that couldn't read the room that decided that a medium soda, 1 per season ticket holder account was a successful promotion. Not like all y'all get medium sodas, but like whoever his name is on the account, not the whole family. So y'all got to share this sucker. And how much ice did they put in these medium sodas? Right. That's another thing. How much ice did they put in it? That's all I can think about last night was the Bears are going to have to blow it up.
A franchise, right. I ain't a franchise. I'll give you multiple sodas. I will personally do that. So,
all I could think about last night in the second game was, my goodness, the Bears are a mess, and they're gonna fire Nagy per the fans' request, and their first round pick is with the Giants, who have lost double digits yet again, and who can't get their act together, and they're probably gonna clean house as well. So that's where I'm over. Like the rest of this season, I'm struggling with.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.